It was a typical Lagos evening, traffic groaning like a wounded beast on the Lekki Yepe Expressway. I was holed up in my room in Aja to generate a distant hum when Amaka's call came through. We would been best friends since primary school, practically inseparable. She was the one who made sense of the chaos, my co-pilot through this wild ride called Lagos. But lately, her calls felt different. They all led to one person, Chidi. Amaka met Chidi at her private school in Lekki Phase 1. She gisted me about him almost every day, his favorite football club, how he cracked jokes, even his parents' impressive connections. I was happy for her truly. I wanted her to experience all of it, the excitement of a first crush. But then, one evening, she asked if I could join their call. I was curious, wanted to see the guy who had captured my best friend's attention. My curiosity quickly turned to discomfort. Chidi was nonchalant. He barely engaged. Then, out of nowhere, Amaka asked him what he thought I wanted to study in university. I am an aspiring artist. Something Amaka knows is my biggest dream. Chidi just chuckled, a dismissive sound. She said, "Ah, so you want to be an artist? Hope so your papa get oil well, sha, because this Nigeria, art no they pay." A cold wave washed over me. It was not just a joke, it was condescending, belittling. Like my passion was a naive folly only rich kids could afford. Amaka laughed it off, told me later Chidi was just joking, but they stuck with me. How could she not see the sting in his words? This was just the start. Soon, every conversation, every late night call, every WhatsApp chat with Amaka revolved around Chidi. She would forward his messages, asking for my opinion, dissecting every emoji. It felt intrusive. I felt like I was invading his privacy, but also I was tired of being a sounding board for his casual conversations with my best friend. It brought back old memories. Amaka had a similar phase with a guy in JSS 3. She would cut off all our friends, lied to everyone about him. He was a toxic guy, manipulative, and I knew she was vulnerable then. This felt different, but the pattern of total absorption was familiar. I tried to change the subject, to talk about my online art courses or the latest happenings in our own neighborhood in Yaba, but she would always steer it back. It was like I was only useful as long as I could talk about Chidi. I started pulling back. Our hour-long calls became 20 minutes, then 10. Weeks passed without a proper conversation. I felt guilty, like a bad friend, but I could not force myself to engage. It was like watching a movie I did not want to see, starring a character I did not like. We could not just meet up easily. She was in Lekki, I was in Aja, and Lagos traffic was not exactly designed for spontaneous hangouts. Christmas came. We would plan to go shopping together, a long-standing tradition. I was supposed to get her a gift at the mall. She would get me art supplies. But a few days before Christmas, she started asking me about my favorite scents. My heart sank. Art supplies? Scents. It was clear she would forgotten our plan, and my gift was going to be a last-minute, generic purchase. It stung, but what came next was a deeper cut. She showed me the gift she got for Chidi. He was a secret Santa at school, so I understood the obligation. But she got him everything on his list, things he would mention casually, things that showed she would listen. For me, just generic stuff. It felt like a hierarchy. Chidi was at the top, I was somewhere below. It felt crumbling, like our friendship was eroding under the weight of his presence. The next day, we finally agreed to meet at a cafe in Lekki. The air felt thick with unspoken words. The clinking of glasses, the hum of conversations around us felt distant. She started with her usual, "So," Chidi said, and something snapped. I could not do it anymore. I took a deep breath. "Amaka," I started, my voice lower than I intended. "We need to talk." Not about Chidi. Her smile faltered. Her eyes, usually so bright and full of life, narrowed slightly. "Wetin be this tunde? You dey vex for something?" she asked, trying to sound casual, but her tone was tight. I told her everything, how I felt sidelined, how every chat was about Chidi, my discomfort with his comment about my art, the privacy invasion with his messages, and finally, the Christmas gift. I saw her face fall with each word. "Tunde, I I did not realize," she whispered, her eyes filling. "Chidi was just joking about your art." And The messages, I wanted your opinion. Her voice was small, defeated. But the gifts, Amaka? The forgotten promise? You chose him over me, over our tradition. I pushed. She looked away, tears tracing paths on her cheeks. The weight of my words hung heavy in the air, between the clatter of plates and distant laughter. I did not want to be mean, but I had to be honest. Amaka, our friendship means everything to me. But it felt like you forgot that. It felt like Chidi became our friendship. She nodded slowly, still not meeting my gaze. It was a painful moment, seeing her hurt, but also knowing I had to protect myself. My own self-worth, my own feelings, had been pushed aside for too long. We sat there in silence for a long time. It felt like hours. I had laid everything bare. The friendship we had built over years, the secrets we shared in our childhood home in Yaba, the dreams we discussed under the Lagos stars, all of it hung in the balance. I did not know what would happen next, if this was the end or a new beginning. But for the first time in months, I felt a strange sense of clarity. I eventually stood up. I need to go, Amaka. She looked up, her eyes still watery. Tunde, She started, but I cut her off gently. Just think about it. About everything. I walked out of the cafe, the Lagos sun hitting my face. The third mainland bridge stretch lay ahead, a long journey. The path forward for our friendship felt just as long, just as uncertain. But I knew I had done the right thing, for both of us.